Hi, I'm here with the Executive Director and Senior Biologist Rob DiGiovanni of the Riverhead Foundation for Marine Research and Preservation to learn about what they do here and interview him. So, what are some of the threats to sea turtles, seals, and whales that on or around Long Island?
That's a good question. Some of the threats that we encounter, there's a lot of threats that whales, dolphins, seals, and sea turtles have. A big one that we have is marine debris. And marine debris is a big one, not even just in the amount of times that we encounter it, but the fact that it's something that we can prevent. I mean, there's no reason for it to be in our marine environment, so if we can work to try and prevent that, that would be very, very beneficial for the whales. Whales or dolphins or seals or sea turtles all have the same problems we do. They can have disease, they can get sick. I mean, just like the flu, there was a dolphin die-off back in 2013 that was related to a virus, which is called a morbidity virus, which is similar to the measles. So in that case, you have normal natural processes that you can encounter. There can be issues that are actually related to food source. So if you have changes in climate or changes in the environment where there's less of one food source or more of another, this might be detrimental to some of those animals. Sea turtles, we mentioned earlier that they also become hypothermic. If they don't leave our waters soon enough in the fall, they'll become hypothermic and then they'll wash up on our beaches. It's the process that one of the things that the foundation does is that we go out and we try to monitor how many of those threats we see on a regular basis and try to understand if those threats are increasing or decreasing. And if they're increasing, we try to understand if there's a reason why they might be increasing. So if there's, say for example, we have a number of animals that come up and they're sick, and then we can look at them and find out that there might be some contaminants or something like that that's impacting them. Maybe there's a place where that contaminant is coming from, and we would try to look into that. But we work together with all of our partners up and down the coast. That's a much larger question. And then we've also had animals, we've had whales that have come up that have had evidence of being struck by ships. Back about 15 years ago, it wouldn't be uncommon for us to only get one whale every couple of years. Last year we had 6 whales come up in 8 months. So we're seeing changes in our environment that might lead us towards having other threats that we haven't even identified yet.
I also heard that overfishing is a big problem for some of these animals.
Well, overfishing, I mean, food source is always going to be an issue. So whether that's the result of overfishing, changes in food distribution, those are some of the things that we really want to look at a lot more closely and understand, what do seals eat? There's a lot of people that they'll go out there and they can speculate and say, oh, we saw a seal eating this and this. But one of the things that we do know is that seals have a very varied diet. They're very opportunistic, and they'll feed on whatever is in the area, and probably more towards the size class. And one of the projects that the foundation is trying to work on with a lot of their colleagues up and down the coast is trying to understand the diet composition of these animals so that we can answer that question a lot better.
So, what would you say that the impact of climate change has had on the animals that you work with here at the Riverhead Foundation?
Well, that's a really good question. Climate change is something that's been very difficult for us to look at and get an answer and say, this caused this. One of the things that we look at is changes of the animal composition that we have here. We might notice that we have a lot of green sea turtles in our tanks. That could be a result of climate change. We don't have a lot of data to say that this is the causal factor, but what we are trying to do is collect data to understand how these animals are changing as far as strandings, or are we seeing different, you asked about loggerheads. Loggerheads feed predominantly on crabs. Green sea turtles feed predominantly on vegetation. Are we seeing changes in crab populations in Long Island Sound or around New York? And are we seeing changes in vegetation that might be a factor? So those are things that we can collect data on and then try to feed them back through models as time goes on. But it's a little early for us to say these are some of the causal factors, but it is definitely something that we're collecting a lot of data to try and help answer those questions in the future.
things that my classmates and I can do to help you, you and the River Foundation reach your goal?
Well, that's a great question. What can you do to help? The first part is that's exactly what the Riverhead Foundation for Marine Research and Preservation is about. It's trying to figure out how everybody can help protect the environment and help promote conservation. So the first thing that you can do is let people know as much as you do about marine mammals and sea turtles, because it's interesting that most people aren't even aware that these animals are here. So the first is education and outreach. Make sure that as many people as you know that these animals are out here, know that marine debris could be problematic for them, so we want to make sure that we keep our beaches clean. Your class and your classmates can actually take part in our beach cleanups when we do them. We do them once a month. The first Saturday of every month we go out and do a beach cleanup. Take part in that, or go out and help clean up your beaches near you and help reduce the amount of marine debris that's there. The other way you can do it is continue on your track to being interested about the environment and someday take over my job, continuing to protect the environment. So those are a lot of, the cross section of all the simple ways that we can do it. The key is don't forget that these animals are here. Don't get too close to them. Help us. We have many classes that actually adopt the seal or a sea turtle and help us, with the cost of doing rehab. We have classes that go out and pick up plastic and bottles. You can actually let us on a release and see what efforts we put into these animals and how they actually might be able to go back out into the wild, and then maybe that'll help you go out and convince your friends to go out and help clean up the beaches. These are some of the cages that we built in order to transport some of the animals. What you might notice is a lot of the things that we do here we actually build ourselves, because you really don't go down and go, hey, I want to buy a seal carrier or a dolphin carrier. So a lot of it is a matter of coming up with creative ideas. This is another gray seal. Let's see. Gray seal. Here's a harp seal. This is harp seal. Harp seals are the ones that are Arctic species seals. These are the ones that have that white coat when you see them when they're first born on the ice, and you've probably seen photos of those. They have what's called a lanugo coat. It's a white coat. They have that. They keep it for a couple of weeks. And then when they shed that, they get the coat that looks like this. When they get older, the adults have like a heart-shaped pattern on their back. This animal is probably about a year old. It's a yearling, so it's probably born last year. It's just one of the many animals that we deal with. We usually respond to about 200 animals, 250 animals. Harbor seals are one of the more commonly encountered animals hauled out, which are the animals that we see when you see a seal hauled out on rocks or on sandbars. That's normal behavior. It doesn't mean that they're all related. It's kind of like if we went to City Field to watch the Mets play. Not everybody's related in the stadium, but they're all there for a common reason. That common reason is to hopefully see the Mets win, right? If I go, they usually lose, so that's why I don't go to the games much anymore. I think it's me. But the key there is that they might know, some of the people might know, but we'll all probably go back to City Field for a common reason. And that's what we're trying to understand about how seals interact and how they haul out. That's some of the research that we've been doing over the years, is trying to understand where those sites are and what these animals are doing. You see the gap between its neck?
Yeah, it's really wrapped in there.
Yeah. It was really, that was entangled with a cord, a poly cord, and so that cut in through its neck. And really, so it's really, obviously it's painful, it obviously can get infected, so now we're going to nurse them back to health. Hopefully we'll be able to release them back out into the wild. But if it were not for the public knowing what to do and what not to do by staying back, calling us, animal would end up being fatal if it just stayed on there. Turtles here, a number of green sea turtles. These green sea turtles are turtles that came up in the fall. They were hypothermic, and hypothermia is like, or cold sunning is what we call it for turtles, but hypothermia is when we get really cold and they get lethargic. I know you're wondering, like, how do you tell when a turtle is getting slow? It's not that easy, but in the case of these guys, they might wash up on our beaches, and if someone's not there to find them, will let us know, it could be fatal. So we have large numbers of the public that will actually go out and walk the beaches in hopes of finding a turtle if it's there, not in hopes of finding a turtle because we really hope that they get out of here in the fall. But because this winter was so mild in the sense that we had such warmer weather for such a long period of time, it's the first time that we've actually had a turtle that came up in January that was actually able to be revived and saved. And this is a turtle that had no outward signs of life, so it was really difficult to even tell if it was alive or not. And so we were able to nurse it back to health, and now it's swimming around in the tank. Can you tell which one it is from it acting differently from all the others?
That one?
Actually, it's this one right here. So the interesting part is it's acting the same as all the other turtles, so we were able to revive it, and it doesn't look like it's going to act any differently. That's great. So that one's under here. So the only difference we have here is we have a bunch of green sea turtles, and the one on the far end down there, you see underneath that T-pipe? That's actually a Kemp's Ridley sea turtle. Kemp's Ridley sea turtles are one of the most endangered species of sea turtles in the world. Wow. We do encounter them in all waters, and it's one that's also the most susceptible to cold stunning. And so that's where we've done a lot of our work at the foundation over the last 2 decades, is in trying to nurse them back to health. All these tanks are on the same system, so we maintain the water temperature for them so that they don't become hypothermic. Of turtles?
Yeah.
Well, we do encounter a loggerhead sea turtle. We don't have any here, so we didn't get many this year, but it is one of the other species. And then we also have leatherbacks that we find. Usually when leatherbacks come up on the beach, they're usually dead, but we have been getting more and more of those animals come up entangled in some type of debris, and we've gone out to working with the Coast Guard to disentangle them. So we've gone out a couple times last year to do that. Thank you. Very good talking to you. Good questions. Did I do all right?